Hello and welcome to Katrinas Creations. This is the Friday edition, and today we're going to be talking about a cemetery. Actually, which sounds really weird, but several years ago my husband and I went up to the White Mountains, which is part of Vermont and New Hampshire, and we went to a granite quarry, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to show you a very unique cemetery that we went and visited as well. So first, let me give you a little bit of detail ahead of time about what you're going to be seeing. The first is the granite quarry, which is called Rock of Ages Granite Quarry. It is located in Graniteville, Vermont, which is near Barre, Vermont. They actually have been quarrying granite out of this area since the 1700s, but the actual Rock of Ages Granite Quarry started in 1880. The quarry itself is nearly 600 feet deep. It is the largest operating quarry in the United States, I think, or possibly the world, I'm not sure. The granite layer that is on top of this mountain is huge. It is 4 miles long, 2 miles wide, and 10 miles deep. They estimate that they could take granite out of there for the next 4,500 years before they would exhaust the granite from this area. So the first things in the pictures that you're going to see are going to be the workshop. Now, many years ago, they actually brought different artisans over from Italy and Sweden and Scotland, and they actually did a lot of the stone cutting. The quarry actually supplies granite not just for gravestones, but for like the curbs that are along the sides of the road. Up in New England, a lot of times they have granite curbs. And also as well as the Capitol building in Montpelier, Vermont, and many other national landmarks and monuments throughout the country have been supplied by Rock of Ages Quarry. So in this picture, you're going to be seeing some of the depths of the quarry, which reaches almost 600 feet in some areas. You will see some like little stairs. If you look, they look very little. They're actually flights of stairs that lead down into the bottom of the quarry, and that's what the workers use to access the bottom of the quarry to do the cutting. Blocks of the granite are cut. They're drilled and then sliced. They are removed by these huge derricks, which you will see in the pictures. And the blocks that come out of there are about the size of a bus. So they're not small blocks that come out to be then cut up further and carved from there. Now we're going to be going over to a cemetery, and this is called Hope Cemetery. It is in Barre, Vermont, which is right next door to Graniteville, and that is where a lot of the artisans are buried. Many of them carved their own tombstones, and you will see some very unique ones. There is, just to point out a few of them, There is a biplane. There is a soccer ball. I don't think I have a picture of the soccer ball. There is a husband and wife sitting up in bed holding hands. There is two pillars. There's the name of the husband and the wife on each of the pillars, and the chain that joins the two pillars has their children's names on it. So it's some very interesting gravestones. So I'm going to let you watch those, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you a little bit more. So the next group of pictures you're going to see is in New Hampshire. It's part of the White Mountains. My husband and I took a train ride. Actually, we've taken 2 train rides on the North Conway Scenic Railroad. And these are pictures that you can see from the North Conway Railroad. And one of these is the Omni Mount Washington Hotel and Resort. Now, this hotel was built between 1900 and 1902. It is one of national landmarks now, and it is one of the last grand hotels in the White Mountains. It cost $1.7 million to build back in 1900, which is the equivalent now of about $64 million in order to build. This location in 1944 was used for the World Monetary Conference, which at that time established the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, which for me is particularly interesting because my grandfather worked for the Bureau of Reclamation, and then after he retired, he actually worked for World Bank when I was a child. So that's kind of interesting little detail there. The other pictures that you're going to see after that are just some scenic pictures of waterfalls and things like that, and some of the mountains that we could see from the railroad. So I hope you have enjoyed this little little tidbit. It had nothing to do fiber related or anything, but it was just a fun vacation that vacation stop that we went to when we were up in Vermont and New Hampshire a few years back. Sadly, the visitor center to Rock of Ages closed in January of this year. So it's no longer, you're no longer able to access it. So I thought it'd be especially fun to kind of show you what you're not able to go in and just see anymore. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, click that little red subscribe button, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.